shots out there. Get in the game, 'cause it's overtime.
Welcome back to Overtime Fantasy, where we go beyond the whistle to bring you home a fantasy championship. Welcome back, fellas. I'm in here with Phil Corella, Tyler Jeffries, and Dan Hudgens is on the
I can't even say it, man, because he's not on the lame train. If anything, he's just skiing right now or snowboarding.
He's just snowboarding.
He's just having a good time.
Yeah. Well, Dan, as everybody knows, towards the end of last season, had a newborn baby. He's got a new job. He's pretty busy, so he's going to be in and out with us periodically. Hopefully, he makes more than he misses. So we'll see how that works.
We'll see how it works.
How you guys doing? I mean, this is the beginning of the off season.
Off season 2019. I'm happy.
I've never been more excited for an off season. All these big name trade rumors, projections of free agency, and this draft class. I'm really enjoying this.
Like, everybody's all like, oh, I can't wait for the NFL draft and football season to start. I said, man, I'm looking forward to the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to all these pro days coming up because I'm like a YouTube nerd when it comes to watching highlights, game films, and all this stuff. I have a problem.
Yeah. I haven't been on the Combine train as much, but I will be when we get prepared for this next podcast that we're doing.
You need to get on them tracks, bro.
I'll be on them tracks. Don't worry.
Get on the Combine tracks.
I'm playing a little catch up, but I'll get back there, and that kind of feeds into my one of my topics that I'm talking about today.
All right, cool, nice.
So with that, we are going to talk about. Tyler's going to talk about what he's looking for in the free agency. Phil's going to be talking about what he's looking for in the upcoming draft class. So all the new rookies that are coming out, what he's looking for in that. And then I am going to talk about the fantasy football offseason do's and don'ts.
Oh.
So I got about 5 of each on the do's and don'ts. Just going to touch on them briefly and talk about, things that you want to do in the offseason and things that you kind of want to avoid doing in the offseason.
All right. And some of the things I'm going to be talking about will be what I'm looking for as far as, is this player going to be draftable or even playable in next fantasy season? So basically, what am I looking for in that player to be fantasy relevant for next year? Like, can this rookie come out and be a Saquon Barkley, or is he going to come out and be straight garbage?
Yeah.
Like, is he going to be a bencher? Is he going to be a guy that's not even worth a waiver pickup? That's the stuff I'm going to be talking about today.
And so just to be clear, we're not actually physically talking about players yet, right? That's going to be next podcast. We're going to get together this week, at the end of this week, to break down running backs, right?
Some of my favorite running backs that will put into the right system can be kind of scary.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, the put into the right system. Same with you, right, Tyler? How are you gonna break down your free agency this week?
So what I'm going to talk about today is how you look at who's going to go to where, how you break down the cap and look at the contracts. I mean, you have so many different, active cap, dead cap, cap holds, and that really plays a factor of who goes where and the scheme fit of a player and the team needs.
When you say cap, you're talking about kneecaps, gas caps,
now salary cap.
salary cap.
Soda pop cap.
We all like soda pop.
Everybody likes a little soda pop.
Little fresh old soda pop.
Brought to you by the Ever So Delicious.
I'm really interested in trying to figure out what you got predicting over there, buddy. You got a lot of things brewing in your mind right now. I can see it, and I'm actually really excited.
So I might break down, because free agency we're going to be talking about running backs the first podcast, and then we'll break down other positions. So today I'm going to give you the synopsis. I might throw a couple of free agent trade rumors I have.
Snap!
Yeah.
Going around
right now. Real quick, who has the cap room? The biggest cap room?
Oh, it's the Indianapolis Colts.
Why? Why is it always the Colts to do everything?
Yeah.
Why can't it just for once? Don't even start. You're the draft class. You guys do all your damage in the draft. The Buccaneers don't do anything with their money. Ever.
So, so just to kind of give everybody a heads up out there, at the end of this week, we are going to have is it going to be running backs or quarterbacks? What do you guys want to do first?
Running backs.
Running backs. Okay. So we're going to do a running back podcast for the free agency. You know, we're going to do about 30 minutes for free agency and about 30 minutes for the combine / upcoming rookie class. But it's probably mainly going to talk about the combine, right?
It's going to talk about a lot of different things,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then there's a lot that goes into it.
But
especially,
mainly it's going to be, can this guy, who's going to be fantasy relevant to start or be on your, like, a deep sleeper hold for your team?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to be mainly going on, because I could talk about the combine all day, but what we are here to talk about is fantasy football. So which of these amazing running backs will you want on your team come next season?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So who wants to lead this off?
Tyler, go ahead. I want to know where.
I
want to know who the Buccaneers are going to get, buddy. Go ahead.
I will say, you know, Phil, myself, and Dan are married. Me and Dan have kids. Tyler's been chomping at the bit to come back and start talking fantasy football on this podcast. Like, he's been hitting us up, and we're like,
it's like, guys,
just give us a minute. Just give us a minute. Like,
it's like, guys, I miss you guys. Can we talk now? We can meet up and talk this weekend.
Yeah, so he's been ready to talk about this. So,
Matt,
so let him have it.
My girlfriend, she had her wisdom teeth removal on Monday, so I took off work Monday. I was supposed to have Tuesday off. She was kind of upset because this is her spring break, and the only thing I did was look at cap and free agency while she was, you know, trying. Hey, can you get me some water? Can you give me some food? I'm like, hold on, babe. Let me level out these trade rumors real quick. No, so free agents, you know, 2019, you got the top 3 people that have, you know, teams that have the cap space: the Colts, the Jets, and the Browns.
God.
So the Colts have $105 million in cap, and the Jets have $99 million, and the Browns have $81 million, and it goes downhill from there. So what you got to look at is you got to look at, what does this team need? So everybody, you know, if you look at people projecting where they're going, like ESPN, SportsCenter, NFL Network, most of these people have the Colts, the Jets, and they have the Browns because they have the most cap space. You can't just look at that. So, like, with perfect example right here, Le'Veon Bell. So, like, Le'Veon Bell, right? Everybody has him going to the Colts, has him going to the Jets, because they have the most cap, most active cap, and he's going to win a big contract. They're not looking at the other teams that need running backs, and their running backs are older, on a 1-year deal, and they're looking to replace them. So why would the Colts want to bring in Le'Veon Bell when at the end of the year Marlon Mack, Naheem Hines, Jordan Wilkins were all getting it done?
Well, because you need more than one back.
Well, you got 3 there. So you're looking at the Jets. So the Jets need a running back.
Right.
So Le'Veon Bell makes perfect sense. Right?
Yeah.
So that's where everybody's projecting him to go. That's probably where he's going to end up going. I'll tell you where I think he's going next podcast. I'm going to leave that little teaser right there.
God.
Little teaser. Tune in.
But the thing you need to do is you need to look at what your team needs, the scheme fit of the player. So if your team's running a 4-3, a 3-4, they run a lot of dollar, dime, big nickel, little nickel. You know, if they run a spread West Coast offense, I mean, you have to look at that and break that down. That's when you'll find out what your team needs.
Yeah, so you're basically looking to see, will this player fit in this system? And, you know, does this system need this player? Does this system have money for this player? So there's a lot that goes into, will this player go to this team?
Yeah,
you know?
so a lot of fans, like, you know, they're like, my team needs an offensive line. Well, does your offensive line need a agile guard, or do they need a power guard?
Yeah. Yep.
Do they need pulling guards? I mean, zone blocking. I mean, that, as an offensive lineman, you know, there's different kind of blocking, you know, schemes that go with teams. So, I mean, it's a lot more in depth than, oh, this guy's the best player, I'm going to go ahead. You need to sign him.
And a lot of people, you know, don't focus on offensive line when it comes to fantasy football because you don't get points from your offensive lineman. But technically, you do. I mean, you don't. My bad. Technically, you don't, but they provide the blocking and everything. So, like, look at the Browns and what the Browns approached in the off season last year in the free agency. They signed Zeitler and Treader, and their run game went from, you know, what Isaiah Crowell did to what Chubb did this year. You know, and Crowell had an okay year, but Chubb played the last half of the season, and had a great year. You know, so there's a lot that can be analyzed when breaking down the free agency, even into the offensive line.
Yeah, the offensive line is probably the most important position for fantasy. And, I mean, you don't get no points from them, but if they're holding up, you're not getting sacks. Like Deshaun Watson got sacked 60 times this year. If he had an offensive line, he would have been able to put up more points for you. Yeah. So, same thing with running backs. So, that you got to look at that, break it down. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Look at somebody as talented as David Johnson and the offensive line that he's running behind. If he was running behind an offensive line like the line there at the Eagles or the line there in Dallas, he's going to be your number one running back every year. He's very talented, but he's doing it by himself right now. If the Cardinals don't address their offensive line in the offseason, they're making a big mistake. And if they go in there, they draft Kyler Murray first overall, and they don't touch that offensive line, they're going to make Kyler Murray look bad, and he's a tremendous talent.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to the Le'Veon Bell thing, I mean, the good thing about him is that he's an every down back. He can run the routes, he can catch the ball, he can run the ball, he can block. So that's what you want. I mean, to go into the wrong team, to me, isn't as big as if he's still in football shape. If he can still, a year out of football is a lot.
I honestly, for Le'Veon Bell, I don't see there being a wrong team. And we're getting a little specific in talking about these players and stuff. Well, we're really just talking about Le'Veon Bell right now. But I don't think there is a wrong team for someone like him if he can perform like he did 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, a player of his caliber changes things for the defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it'll free up other players to do good things. So I feel that if he goes to, let's say he goes to the Jets, who had a really terrible running game last year, that running game is going to get incredibly better just because he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, I like to see him in the Jets uniform to see what he can do there, but I'm still trying to figure out how out of shape and how prepared he will be to go take on another full season in the NFL.
And unlike the scouting combine, we won't know until next season.
Right.
Yeah, and that's true.
That's the only thing.
We know he's been working out. We know he's been keeping in shape because teams wouldn't want him if he wasn't.
Yeah.
But,
So, real fast, I'm sorry to cut you off, Tyler. And I know that we're going to talk about this a lot in the off season here, but where are you comfortable and where are you okay with drafting Le'Veon Bell?
Depends on what team he goes to.
If he goes to the Jets, let's just say he's on the Jets.
I'd say second, third round.
Second, third round?
Like my second or third pick, maybe.
Yeah,
probably third pick.
I would probably go with late first if I'm in the back half. Maybe,
that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe second. I'd feel a lot more confident if I was able to get him in the second. Like when Gurley had that off season, and you were able to get him in the second or third, I'd feel more comfortable if I was able to do that.
Yeah. I don't see him. I still don't see him falling out of the first, just because he's got the name value. But I do agree with what you're saying, Phil. He missed an entire year of football. Me personally, I'm not going to put a top 10, a top 8 pick on him.
I'm not going to waste my first pick on a guy who's been out of football for a year.
And who knows what may happen.
Right.
Like, missing football for a year is a big deal.
Yeah.
So I do agree with what you're saying. I don't know if I would. It would be hard to pick him at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
It'd be a little bit easier in the second round.
Right.
Like I said, this is why you got to tune in next week because we're talking running backs, and I got some bombshells that are going to be going down for running backs. But so I want to talk about a little bit like some trade rumors real quick that I think is going to happen right now.
Spit them out.
The first one is I think Josh Rosen's going to get traded to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
So I believe that they'll end up giving up their first, but I do not think Andy Dalton's the guy, and we all know Andy Dalton's not the guy.
So do you think that they would trade for Rosen, or do you think they would address that in the draft and go after like someone like Dwayne Haskins or something?
Well, Dwayne Haskins, to me, he's not ready to go out there right now. But I'm not the scouting.
Yeah.
I haven't watched as much college football as both of y'all. But to me, from what I could see from the little bit of clips I've seen on YouTube, I don't think he's the guy that's going to be able to go out there week one and be your starter.
Okay.
He'd probably be best situational if you sit a year.
Yeah.
So
Quit taking my segment, bro.
I'm so sorry,
Yeah,
Phil.
yeah.
But he asked the question, and that's just my honest answer with it. I think Josh Rosen will get traded to the Bengals.
Okay.
And I feel like he will be very good in that situation. Another team that I was also looking at that could pick up Josh Rosen is the Patriots.
Really?
That would be actually scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you imagine Rosen sitting behind Brady for another year or two?
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be.
He already
interesting to
has
see.
an offensive mind like Brady.
Yeah.
The kid is very sharp when it comes to his football knowledge. It's very sharp.
Yeah.
So to see him study under the GOAT for a couple of years, that's like Aaron Rodgers with Brett Favre.
Yeah. So that's where I think the best situation for him would be getting traded to the Patriots, but I have a feeling that he's going to go to the Bengals just because they have a higher pick. So
What if he goes to the Steelers?
I don't think he's going to the Steelers. Steelers got Mason Rudolph last year. I like Mason Rudolph.
He's
I
a
do
little
too.
gunslinger.
Another guy that I was looking at was, everybody knows Antonio Brown. I believe he's going to the Raiders. They'll probably give up a 27th overall pick for him. They have 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So, but another guy that's just started coming out, Odell's coming out right now, saying that, trade rumors, trading block.
I think Odell stays. I don't think they'll be able to trade him. It's just a feeling I have.
So they need a quarterback, and I believe that they're going to go to Dwayne Haskins.
Makes sense.
But if they don't and they want to address another position, I could see them going to the Colts and saying, let me get Jacoby Brissett and a first or a second.
Yeah.
And that trade would make sense.
Yeah. That wouldn't be too bad. It's a whole lot. There's a lot that goes into trade. Like, you'll try to predict something, and it'll just like, oh, hey, he's going to the Chargers. Like, what? Why?
What?
Yeah,
I don't get this.
it's trades are a lot harder to predict,
Yeah.
other than free agency. But you got to look at, because you have to look at the assets and what would make sense.
So free agency starts when?
March 13th.
March 13th.
I guess 2 days before you could actually start talking, but nothing's official till the start of the new season.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
My phone, I know I'll be at work and it'll just be going bling,
Blown up.
bling.
Can't wait to get all those alerts.
All right, so Phil,
Hi.
upcoming rookie class
Sure.
/ combine. What are you looking for when you're scouting these players for fantasy football?
You gotta be more specific, man. That was a bad question.
You're like, what are you looking for? Like when you're watching the combine, like what kind of attributes are you looking for to see what they're doing? Like to see if they're going to be relevant in fantasy football in the future.
Let's put it down to a position group. So basically with quarterbacks, what I'm looking for is the accuracy part of it. I know these players haven't thrown with these receivers and stuff. That's why I like looking at it, because if you can throw accurate to a player, you don't know their body language yet, and the ball is still getting to you in the right spots, that's telling me something that you're an accurate thrower. Now, Dwayne Haskins is that accurate thrower. He was on the money with every single one of his throws, and he might not. I don't think he's NFL ready, because I think 1 year of college football isn't enough to be prepared to be a day one starter. But he has the accuracy to get it done.
So you're looking at like a Dwayne Haskins 2020.
Well, maybe.
Yeah,
But-
he needs some time to get that football under him a little more.
Yeah,
Like
I think his football IQ is sharp, but it
Yeah.
needs a lot. He has a lot more room to grow. So a few things that I was looking at with quarterbacks was that, and also I was looking at just how their deep ball looked, because I like a quarterback can throw a really good deep ball, and just on that, because it's hard to predict. It's hard to see exactly what a quarterback's going to do based off the combine, because a lot of them don't like to throw. A lot of them don't like to run the 40. It's kind of like their pro day is where you're going to find out all the information you need to know about it. That and game film. So with a running back, I'm looking at the cone drills. I'm looking at the route running. I know that they're fast. I'm not worried about their 40. We all know that these guys are explosive. They're in the combine for a reason.
Yeah.
There's track speed and then there's game speed. A guy that I'm going to shoot out there is Elijah Holyfield. He ran a 4.7, 4.8, I think, close to a 4.8. But you look at his game film, and he's running past guys who ran a 4.4. Yeah. So there's game speed, and then there's track speed. So I'm not really worried about their 40-yard time. What I'm worried about is their quickness and their explosiveness. So with these drills that they're running, how quick can they get out of their cuts? How smooth do they look? I mean, do they look like they're running and they're struggling, or are they just doing it naturally? That's what I'm looking for with the combine.
I got to stop you for just a second, because that naturally running ability, like if you remember, I know you remember him, the guy, you know, I'm blanking on his name.
Do you remember him?
He played with us, Norwood. If you remember, like, the way that Norwood ran, like, this is a guy that we played football with in college.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even look like he was putting any effort into running, and he was faster than everybody out there. Like, we get done running 110-yard sprints, and he was just, like, standing straight up, wasn't even breathing hard.
Don't just say one. We ran, like, 15 or 20 of these things, and he's just sitting there like, that's it.
And he's just, like, not even breathing hard. And like, when he's running, like, he's running faster than everybody, and it looks like he's jogging. Looks like he's just kind of like, meh, I'm here.
Right.
Like, that effortlessness is a sign of just a pure athlete.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking for with these drills. You know, every running back's different. With receivers, I'm looking at their route running, obviously. I'm looking at how their hands are and all that stuff. I mean, you can have a crazy vertical. You can have, like, let's put DK Metcalf, all right? The guy's a freak. Seriously. Yeah. I mean, you can't be that big, that strong, that fast, and not have any flaws, right? Nah, he's a little bit raw right now. I think he's going to take some time to get to that ability, but he has the potential to be the next Julio Jones, I believe.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for a guy that can run all the routes.
Yeah.
You know, how is his sideline catching? How is his catching ability all together? Can he catch the ball naturally? You know what I mean by naturally is, does he look like he's like a prototype where he's catching the ball, like he's like, all right, catch it, tuck it away, or does it just come naturally?
Yeah.
To catch the ball, like, I don't even have to look. I know I caught the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a Odell. When he was running his sideline drills, he was going back and forth, catching the ball and, like, throwing it back to them before it even, like, hit his hands, it seemed like. He'd catch it, plop, throw it away, turn to the next side, like, catch. And other guys are like, okay, I got it. I got to look at it, look it in, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm looking for a guy that has natural catchability. You know, these things are what I'm looking for at the combine. Now, game film is completely different. That takes a long time to know what you're looking for, but I'm going to break down all that stuff for each position next podcast. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There's a couple guys out there that are definitely worth stashing on your team, especially in dynasty leagues. Like, there's a couple guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
the combine is so important to watch if you are in a dynasty league. Like, because you're going to get those guys that aren't heard of. Like, people, you know, they get drafted in the 6th, 7th round, but you saw him at his combine. You saw his quick speed. You saw his cuts. You saw his pass catching ability, his deep ball ability, whatever position it is. You saw that in the combine, and you're going to know, heck, man, this is a guy I can pick up, stash, and in 2 years, he's going to earn a position on the football field. Absolutely. A lot of it goes into that combine is watching their effort. You know, watching like the type of effort they put into it. You know, and that shows a lot. Yep. All right, so moving on.
Kender, it's your topic, buddy.
It's my topic. My topic's going to be just probably a little bit longer than y'all's because your guys' topics are going to be, 4 or 5 podcasts long?
Yeah. So, we got a pretty good deal to talk about this stuff, you know. We're pretty happy about it.
Yeah. So my topic's going to be the fantasy football off-season do's and don'ts. You know, so what do you want to do and what do you want to kind of avoid doing in the off-season? I'm going to start with the do's. I'm going to talk about everything you do want to do in the off-season. I want your guys' input, kind of feedback on that as well. And then I'll talk about the don'ts. So what you do want to do, number one, you want to get started on the fantasy football prep early. You know, you don't want to wait until 2 weeks before your draft and then start trying to crunch all your research in just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't watched any of the combine where Phil has been watching every second of it. I have a lot of catching up to do.
Don't tell my secrets, bro.
I have a lot of catching up to do just to, understand all these rookies that are coming in and what's going to happen. So,
but are you trying to mainly focus on rookies, or are you trying to focus on like all the stuff that me and Tyler are talking about? I mean, when it comes to fantasy football, what I'm asking is, do you want to pay more attention to the already established players? Fantasy
absolutely.
football wise.
Yeah. If you're doing a redraft league, your rookie class is minimal compared to the rest of the class.
Okay.
But I just want to know every little bit. I want that rookie in the 15th round that nobody knows about, All
right. I was just asking for a friend, I was just asking for a friend. Not me personally.
That's where the scouting combine comes in in hand, is when you're in the 17th round and you got Alvin Kamara and you're like, I'm going to snag him up. Alvin Kamara.
This year?
No, when he was a rookie. When he was a rookie,
yeah.
Nobody thought about that.
Yep.
So
I drafted him in the 16th round and then dropped him, and Dan picked him up, and Dan played him all year and killed it that year. So you just don't want to be scrambling in the last minute trying to do all this research beforehand. You want to be able to almost relax going into your draft, knowing that you have all the information you need.
And that's why you just tune into our podcast, because we're going to tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. We're going to give it right here. We're going to spoon feed you, baby birds.
That's why we're here. That's what we do.
All right. So, number 2, one of the off-season do's is you do want to mock draft. Do a lot of mock drafting. I usually start doing mock drafts just a little bit after the NFL draft. So, about a month after that, right there, May, June, something like that, that's when I start doing my mock drafts. And it's just, at first it's just to kind of open up the phone and look at a little bit of fantasy football because it's been so long since I've seen anything about it, So I just do a little bit of mock drafting, and up until, July, August, I start doing like 2, 3, 4 mock drafts a week. And then a couple weeks beforehand, I'm doing one a day, you're
doing more than one a day, buddy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you're
doing 12.
But it's just so mock draft isn't going to necessarily determine what you're going to draft. It's just kind of letting you know what players are going where.
Gives you the feel.
Yeah, it just gives you a feel of how drafts are going to flow. Because a lot of people pay attention to the top 300 and they go straight down the board, stuff like that. You got people that do that. You have people that know their research and they're going to draft the best players in the best position, stuff like that. And then this just helps prepare you. So always be prepared. Mock drafting is one of the best ways to prepare because, like I said, you're going to know. Is Le'Veon Bell going in the first or second round this year? Is he going in the third? Is he falling to the third? Which I don't think he's going to. I think you'll be lucky to catch him falling to the second. But me personally, I don't think I want to draft him in the first round.
You know what? I actually would rather prefer to do a live mock draft with friends, your friends and everything, instead of just joining a mock draft in Yahoo or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like just because after a while they sign off.
Yeah, they leave.
So it's just it takes forever to do the thing. Like if you have a group of friends that you can do a mock draft with at least once a week, that would help so much.
Yeah, that is, and that's something you'll actually see what real people are doing. You'll
instead of
see,
just drafting this, because every time for the last couple of years, it seems like I'm drafting the same players every single draft.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, my team looks super familiar.
Yeah, right.
I know for the last 4 years, Kendra and I always get in the same mock draft, and that was before we knew about our apps, like the Dominator app, SleeperBot. We were joining Yahoo mock draft leagues.
Yeah.
And we were mock drafting. I know for the last 2 years, Phil, us three, we've been getting into mock drafts as well.
And it just helps. I mean, it helps to see where people are going to go and stuff like that.
It's always
I
better.
can't wait for our live mock draft podcast.
Yeah. I'm so excited for that.
I can't wait to dominate.
We're gonna have multiple this year.
You fools gonna get dominated.
But Tyler and I will mock draft, and a lot of mock drafts now they give you a grade at the end. So
I
we
don't
keep
pay
striving.
attention to their grade.
No, you don't, but you still want that high grade.
Yeah.
Like you still want to get that 99%. And so Tyler and I, for the last few years, we've been sending it back and forth of, check this out, look at this. And you know, you send it off to a friend and let them analyze like what you've done.
And let them
because
laugh
they're going to
at
let you. Yeah.
I'm laughing at every one of Tyler's picks, and then they all pan out next year.
Yeah, right.
I hate it.
But
We're killing it.
But yeah, send it off to a friend and let them kind of analyze it and let you know, like, hey man, if you would have just waited a little bit, you could have got this guy instead of, you know, reaching for this running back. You know, if you would have got a receiver here and then waited the next round, you could have had this running back and your team would have looked even better because you would have had a better, you know, just let them analyze it for you a little bit and, you know, kind of do the same for them. It'll help critique and make you a better drafter at that point. What my next do is to, you know, watch the combine and watch the draft. So that kind of feeds into what Phil will be talking about in the next few weeks.
You got to do it.
There's just so much information in the draft and in the combine. You don't want to miss it. You know, you want to watch as much of that as you can. Especially after the draft, go back and look at those people that have been drafted to these teams. Look at them and check out their combine, check out what they did, and just kind of see how they perform.
So one thing I do is, I watch the combine when it's live, but I always record it, and then after the draft, I'll go back and I'll watch the tape on certain players.
But the thing, all right, here's what I'm trying to. One thing that I want people to start doing is do your own research on these players. Don't look at the highlights because everybody's highlight tape is made for one thing, to look like you're a superstar.
Yeah.
You need to look at every single game film. Like all right, put it this way. There is very few quarterbacks in this draft that these guys on NFL Network are showing like, oh man, this guy has a great tape against this team, or check out this throw. And it's a throw against a team like an FCS school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a throw that was made when you had 4 seconds to make the decision and put the ball wherever you wanted. You look at the same guy against a top 10 team, and he is scrambling. He doesn't know what's going on. He's getting hit. He's getting rushed. He's getting hurried. It is... Do your own research. That's all I'm saying. Watch the game films, and you'll actually see the caliber of player that this guy truly is.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And like Phil said, you know, that's what highlight films are for. Highlight films are there to make you look like a stud.
Right. If you have a bad play on your highlight tape, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's just like, look at the team that they're playing against. Like, I want to know how they did against an Alabama. I want to know how they did against a Clemson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they did halfway decent, okay, maybe this kid's got something, you know?
We need to find somebody out there that's willing to put together a whole lot of tapes.
A blooper tapes.
A blooper tape.
Well, and
Here's
that can
what
go the opposite
fantasy
way.
don'ts.
But that can go the
tape.
opposite way. That can make a very good football player look like trash because everybody has bad plays. You know, everybody has 1 to 2 bad plays a game, and you put all those together and put, you know, 24, 25 plays in one film of this star, and they'll look like trash. But, you know, and you can do that. You know, nobody's out there doing it, but you can. And like Phil said,
I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to put 25 reasons why you shouldn't draft this player and put just 25 plays of how trash he is.
Yeah. So, but like when even in college football recruiting, like if they're recruiting a kid out of high school, they don't want to see your highlight film. They want to see your game film. Let me see, you know, send us your game. Yeah. You know, send us, you know, your week 5 game, whatever it is. And that's what they want to see. They don't want to see your highlight film because anybody can look like a star on a highlight film.
Like I was watching the highlight film, or not a highlight, I was watching the game film of the quarterback from NC State. I think his last name is Finley, against Clemson. And in the first half, he had 19 passing yards and 2 interceptions.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And they're talking about this guy being a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I said, okay, if this guy is struggling this bad against Clemson, wait till he gets a load of like the New England Patriots.
Yeah, right.
Unless he goes to the Patriots, then he might like, hey, get a load of this team. You know,
but then he's still going against the Patriots.
He's still going against Patriots.
Never,
yeah, right.
He's never going to get a starting position.
Good luck on scout team.
Yeah,
you're getting benched for scout team.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like I don't understand. Like, yeah, this kid might be 6'5", and he might be able to make every throw, but if he's not capable of making those caliber throws against a team like Clemson, is he really NFL ready? I don't know.
Absolutely. So, do number 4 is continue to trash talk. So we have our own group text that we text in, and we do a lot of trash talking. We play fantasy football because it's fun. That's the biggest reason why we play fantasy football.
Do what? I don't play because it's fun. I play to whip y'all's butt.
There's a trophy up there with my name on it.
Yeah.
And not yours.
What not to do. Don't win that trophy. It's cursed.
So yeah, like, continue to trash talk. Continue, if you won last year, continue to let the rest of your league know it.
I don't want to know
it. You may not ever win again. You never know. So, like, continue to let them know, like, hey, just to let you guys know, I am the best at fantasy football.
God, I hope you never win again.
Well, if you listen to Overtime Fantasy, you're going to win again. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. So, like, 1 year I did a meme for every time I played somebody. I did a meme and made it of them and sent it out to the group. And I believe they were pretty funny. I think if outsiders looked at them, they wouldn't think they were funny because they were mostly like inside jokes and stuff. But
I don't know, man. Those were definitely good. Like, I'm pretty sure you could put those on Facebook and those would get a million hits.
I would never do that to you guys.
Thanks,
I just want to shame you in our own group.
Was it every Saturday or was it just Sunday morning?
Sunday morning. I would. It started out with like 2 or 3, and then it got out of control.
You should have done one for every week up to the game.
Oh yeah, it was
Monday to Saturday, just
one every day,
just bashing.
And like in the off season, the last couple times I won, I'm making a video.
Stop saying that. Stop saying the last couple times that I've won.
No
like,
one
just
cares.
Stop.
No, like I make videos and just kind of let you guys know how trash you are and how great I am. You got to do that.
No one cares.
But even if you got last, it doesn't matter.
Why you gotta keep bringing up old stuff?
Why
you gotta keep bringing up tough times?
Why are you looking at me, man?
God, you're staring right at me when you said that. You looked right into the windows of my soul, and you say, if you come in last place once, or you want to let them know it.
Well,
like,
or
don't
twice.
stare at me. Look, God, really?
We're on to
That's what
this
it's all
season.
about. That's what it's all about. It's about the fun and the trash talk. There are leagues out there that make the loser get a tattoo. They make them stand on a corner in like a tutu, and like there's a lot of fun to be had. Yeah.
I just want you to know, you're the least prepared out of me and Phil.
What?
Right now.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually sounding pretty good. I want to keep knowing what I should and should not do. Well, all right, let's get into some of these don'ts. Hold on.
I got one more do.
You got
All
one
right,
more do-do?
Oh, do
One
it.
more do. Learn from your mistakes. Things that you might have did wrong or might have did right last year.
Explain what you did terrible last year.
What I did terrible last year is
Nothing because you won.
Drafted
it's hard
Jared
to say.
McKinnon.
I can't say it.
And absolutely, like I went against my own thoughts, and I was like, you know what? I told Tyler multiple times that Jerick McKinnon could not handle the workload. He's not a second round pick. I picked him in the second round. That's something I'm never going to go against my gut again, and that'll probably bite me in the butt too. So
Yes, you go against your gut every day.
Yeah, right.
I don't see how you can even say that because you go against your gut and you still win first. So I don't understand your thoughts.
Yeah, but just kind of realize what you did right. Try to repeat those actions. What you did wrong, try to avoid repeating that again this year.
Like getting Michael Thomas in the third round. Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you can purposely repeat that, but that would be sweet if you could.
Purposely, I'm doing it.
I think the biggest thing you got to learn from is don't take a risk on a player that's not signed yet.
Yeah.
I mean, you drafted
For instance, who?
Le'Veon Bell, drafted him first through 3. He didn't go above that.
What's that? Who? I didn't draft him.
The first or third overall pick, he didn't go above that.
Yeah. I mean, he was drafted early. I mean, Yeah,
Well, yeah,
if there's some
everybody
news
thought he
out
was gonna
there,
be signed.
this guy's threatening to sit out. You know, you might want to drop him down the draft board a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into these don'ts. My first don't is don't hold on to your pain from last year. So what I mean by that,
But you keep holding on to my pain for the last couple years. So what's wrong with you?
what I mean by that is specifically don't hold on to how a player might have hurt you.
Like
You know,
Derrick Henry.
it took me a long time to realize.
I will never support that guy. Ever.
But it took me a long time to realize why I was such a Andrew Luck hater last year. And
Why?
it's because the year before.
Tyler.
Well, yeah. Tyler
Oh,
helped with
you
that.
guys can't see right now, but Tyler wears an Andrew Luck jersey every single podcast.
And it's a New Jersey every time.
Right.
He wishes.
He wishes. Andrew Luck, if you're listening, what up?
What up? Hey, Tyler needs some more Andrew Luck jerseys. He's sporting you over here, man.
Yeah, he's running out of luck.
But yeah, don't hold on to that. Like I said, it took me a long time to realize last year why I was such an Andrew Luck hater, and it was because I drafted him the year before, and it wasn't a good draft pick. And you know, so that's the type of things. Like if you drafted Le'Veon Bell last year, he hurt you, and you're going to have that hatred for Le'Veon Bell this year, and you know it's going to come to the beginning of the second round, and he's going to be there. You're going to pass him up just out of I hate
Spite.
that guy.
Spite.
Yeah, you're just going to, you know, not draft him out of spite, and, you know, you're going to miss out on a top, you know, could. Now, I'm not saying Le'Veon Bell is going to be a top 10, top 5, whatever, but you could miss out on that top 10, top 5 running back.
So were you wishing that hurt on Andrew Luck last year?
I wasn't wishing it on him. I was just holding on to that pain where he hurt me the year before, you know. Where I was hurt deeply the year before, so I had a hatred for Andrew Luck that I didn't even know was there.
You sound like such a turd.
Yeah. You got to let it go. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, move on. You never
Quit
hold
talking
it.
about his boy like that, bro.
It's a new season for a reason.
Yeah, and
Wow,
that's true.
That rhymed.
That did run.
I liked it.
Bars.
Bars. Over there slimming in.
Look, he's getting lucky now.
He said bars.
Candy bars. That's what you want to do.
Sorry.
You want to bash your boys in public.
Absolutely. Just humiliate him.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So number 2, don't think that just because you're dominating the mock draft that you're just automatically going to go in there and do the same thing in your real life draft. You know, things change between mock drafts and actual drafts. You know, always have a backup plan. That way, if things go differently than what they have been in your mock drafts, you're ready for it. You know, so just know that just because you're dominating your mock draft doesn't mean you're going to go into a live draft and dominate that as well.
True.
Thanks for your feedback, Phil. I
Got it,
appreciate
man. That was like a solid fill-in spot. You know, I said true.
true.
If at
true.
the
Knowledge drop.
If at this point and you're like a seasoned fantasy veteran and you don't know that mock drafts never translate to real drafts, I mean, you got to get out of make-believe land.
So stop. Number 3, don't.
I'm sorry, I gotta. Was that like Cleveland for the past couple years?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Get out of here.
Trash talk.
Get out of here. Guys,
Get
get
out
out
of
of my house.
make believe land. You mean Cleveland? Got it. Go
Get
ahead.
out, get out of
Proceed.
my house, you two jokers.
All right.
All right, so number 3, don't stop paying attention to football. This kind of ties back into watch the draft, watch the combine, everything like that.
Yeah.
Don't stop paying attention to it because there's just, you know, maybe a little piece of news today and then a little piece of news tomorrow, a little piece. But if you're trying to catch up on all that in the last minute, it's going to be overwhelming.
Right.
So
Don't start paying so much attention to baseball.
yeah, you know, if I wanted to take naps, I would just close my eyes instead of just watching baseball.
Shots fired. Cool.
All right, so don't overlook coaching changes or free agent moves. Those are huge when it comes to fantasy football. You know, coaches can bring a lot to the table. A good quarterback coach can make a quarterback better. a good offensive coordinator can make the entire offense better, and it's proven, it's happened year after year. So don't ignore coaching changes when it comes to fantasy football, and don't ignore those free agent moves that Tyler's going to be talking about.
I got
in
a
the next
question for
couple
you,
weeks.
Tyler.
Yeah.
How do you think Bruce Arians is going to do at Tampa?
I actually like Bruce Arians, and I think he's going to develop Jameis Winston to a better quarterback.
Okay. Proceed.
Still going to be trash, though. Don't get your hopes up.
Man. Don't put that evil on me.
All right, and number 5, don't miss an episode of Overtime Fantasy.
Better not.
Don't do it. We're going to bring you the up-to-date stuff, a lot of draft information, a lot of, free agency information, everything that we bring to you. Don't miss an episode. We're going to be trying to help you win a fantasy championship if you listen to us day in and day out.
Hold on. No, we're not trying. I mean, we're going to be giving you the information to win this league.
And we really are Overtime Fantasy. I mean, just think about it. We wake up at what? I don't know. You wake up at 2:00 in the morning.
2:45.
I wake up at 3:50.
I wake up at 5.
And Tyler over here is a late sleeper. And we put
wish
in
I
a
could
full
wake up at
days
5.
of work at the shipyard and wherever Tyler works. Yep. And then we do all of our information, come here, and then we give you all that you need to win.
Yeah, we
are Overtime Fantasy for a reason, y'all. And we, we're the real deal. Or trying to become the real deal.
Yeah, and that's how we got our name. Like, we sat down, we talked, we brainstormed, went through a whole bunch of stuff, and, everything was after the whistle. We have a shipyard whistle that we that tells us when to clock out and tells us when to clock in, basically,
Yeah. I mean, right now, Dan's still working.
Dan's putting in that overtime.
Yeah, man. I told y'all he was snowboarding earlier, but he's still at the shipyard.
Yeah, so make sure you tune in, check us out. We're gonna give you as much information as we can possibly give you. So thanks for listening.
What's the best way for them to get our information?
Still working on the website, so it's not fully up and running yet. We're doing a little bit of touch ups, but we do have our domain at www.overtimefantasy.com. Like I said, there's still some touches to go into that before it gets running full go, but that's going to be our number one spot once we get it going.
But until then, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
That's right.
Yep, and we will be putting out articles soon to go on our website, so be sure to look out for that.
Absolutely.
Tons of information coming at you, so let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to 2020, guys. I'm just joking.
2020?
2019.
Let's not skip 2019.
Well, I'm already looking forward to 2020 off season now.
This off-season stuff just got me going.
We just skipped the whole year.
Thanks a lot for listening. We appreciate all the support.
Support is much needed and liked.
Hey, Dan, you got anything to say?
Hold on.
Oh, man, that's right.
I hear people.
No, Dan.